What's up and welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm going to be reviewing set 75053 The Ghost. Now this set released in 2014 for just $89.99. Adjusted for inflation today though, that's about $120 USD. This set has 929 pieces and 4 minifigures. So without further ado, let's get right on into this review. I want to start by looking at the minifigures for this set, as I do think it's one of the high points. Now, you do get 4 and technically kind of 5 because one of the minifigures is a variant depending on the time in which you purchase this set, being the Kanan Jarrus. You can either have the black hair or the brown hair variant, the brown hair variant being the most common, with the black one being a rare exclusive version to this set. Now, I'll get more on about Kanan and the whole black hair variant of Kanan later on when we get to his part of the minifigure section, but I'm going to start with Zeb Aurelios. Now, Zeb is the only true exclusive minifigure to this set, and I think he is a great minifigure. I'm really happy that we got him in Lego form, but I'm kind of sad that this was the only set that we ever saw him appear in. Now, there could be some reasons for that, being that this yellow torso is very prone to cracking. It cracks and scratches very easily, which is why finding one of these minifigures in pristine condition is very hard, and they go for a lot of money, which is the main thing driving the aftermarket price of this set up, is to get a new version of this Zeb. Now, overall, I think he has some really nice printing with that yellow torso and legs. I think it's done really well. I don't have them fully together right now because I do not want this one to crack, because this is a pristine one, but you can see the printing goes seamlessly between the body and the legs, and it looks really nice. I think that yellow really pops, especially against that purple skin, which I do really like. You can see there's a small kind of reflective area on the top right of his torso, which I think looks really cool and adds a lot to this minifigure. As we come along to the back, there's not too much detail on the legs, but I think the back has some pretty nice torso printing that I'm a pretty big fan of. As I was saying, I think the skin tone, the purple, looks really good and is very accurate for this minifigure. I think he has a really nice face print too. Now, there is some kind of discrepancies. It could have been nice to have maybe gotten a different kind of facial expression. However, I think having the basic face expression is the best way to go without having stuck on one of the extremes. And I think the little bit of the beard in the black is very nice and it adds a very good contrast to the purple and the rest of this minifigure. He also includes his small little bowcaster weapon thing, which is just 2 blasters with a black lightsaber piece connecting them, but I'm very happy that they didn't include his special weapon. Overall, I think this is definitely a perfect minifigure in my opinion. Our next minifigure in this lineup is Hera Syndulla, and she appears the same as she has in all of the other Rebels sets. Overall, I think she's a really nice minifigure. I love the printing on her, and I like the contrast between the orange and the brown. I think it makes for a really nice minifigure. There's some basic printing on the torso and legs, but I think it does look really good, and I think the highlight of this minifigure is definitely the headpiece. It looks really nice. It has some really good printing on the back of it. The back torso printing leaves a bit to be desired, and there is no printing on the back of the legs. Now, I think this minifigure could have used maybe some sort of arm printing. However, I think overall it's a really nice minifigure and I am a big fan of it. Now, there is also an alternate head or face on the back side of this head. You have your smile right here, and then on the other side you have a bit more of a frown. Overall, I think it's a pretty nice minifigure and it's definitely a must include for this set. Next up, we have the most boring of these figures, and it's the Stormtrooper. I would have loved to have gotten a different minifigure with this, maybe another named character like a Sabine or an Ezra. I think would have been a perfect addition. I think the Stormtrooper is kind of not great in my opinion. I mean, it's a good Stormtrooper, don't get me wrong, and it's nice to get something to oppose your main characters. However, I don't think this was the set to get it in. Overall, I think it's a good minifigure, but I would have preferred to have gotten something else. It's the same as all of the other, Stormtroopers that we got in that time era, in that Rebels style. Overall, I'm a big fan of this Stormtrooper style. I think it's better than some of the ones that we're getting now, and I don't really have anything else to say about it. I just wish that we would have gotten a different named character instead of a Stormtrooper. Next up, we have Kanan Jarrus, and a little bit more info on the whole black-haired Kanan situation is basically, from my knowledge, I'm not 100% sure, but depending on when you got this set, in the very early production, they gave Kanan black hair because that's what they thought it was based on the concept art that they got, because they made this set before the show had actually released. But then, after the show came out, they replaced it and fixed it with the brown hair variant. Now, I don't actually have the black hair variant because it's like a $200 figure, and I don't see the point in buying it if all it is black hair and a black beard and eyebrows. The only exclusive piece to that minifigure is the head with the black eyebrows and beard. So I'm perfectly happy with my brown hair variant, as it is 1/20th of the price. But overall, I think The Kanan that you get in this set is a very nice minifigure. I think he has some really nice printing on the torso and the legs, and the back printing is also pretty good. Now it is the same version of Kanan that we got in most of the other Rebels sets, and as for the face printing, first off you have your nice little smile Kanan, and then you have an alternate face on the back coming along with a more serious look. Overall, I think this is a very good minifigure. Now, in my opinion, 4 minifigures for a $90 set is not cutting it. I wish that we would have gotten another additional minifigure, and this is just me being picky, but I think great inclusions could have been a Chopper. I think Chopper is what is glaringly missing from the set, as he's a big part of the Ghost crew and pilots and helps run the Ghost. I think some other options could be, like I said earlier, that Sabine and Ezra. I think honestly anything would have been pretty good, but overall I am happy with the 4 minifigures that I included. I think they're all pretty good quality, so let's move on to the build, the Ghost itself. Now, overall, I think this build has a lot going for it. Of course, there are a few flaws, but I think there's definitely more pros than cons when it comes to this build. But I want to start by the overall exterior and shape of the ship. Now, the Ghost has kind of an odd angular shape, and I think that was captured very well with this. There's a lot of really nice angles that makes up the shape of the Ghost. I think it's very accurate. I think it looks really good. I think the first shortcoming, though, comes in the detailing. Now, I will cut this some slack given it is from 2014, but looking here on the back and even on the front, there's just too many exposed studs for my liking. And I think they definitely could have done with some tile pieces to make it look a little bit better. That's something that I think they did a lot better in the front. As you can see, there's a lot less stud and it looks a lot better in my opinion. Now, I also think with some of their detailing pieces like those grays and those sand greens, although I think they look really nice, I think they would have benefited from being angular because the blocky style just doesn't look too great in my opinion. But other than that, I think it makes really good use of stickers in this set. Now, I think there's not too many stickers in here. It was a moderate amount, but definitely not a lot compared to what we get in some of the other sets today. And I think the stickers elevate this set quite a bit and add some much needed detail. Now, I think this set, overall, the silhouette and the shape was done very well, but there's also a lot of things play feature-wise that I want to take a look at. Starting off on the top, we have a turret. Now, this turret goes 360 degrees all around, and I think it's a really nice inclusion. However, I have one issue. It's that when you see it from this angle, it's not all the way around. You have a small gap right there, which I am not a big fan of. I wish that that was seamless and actually went in. However, you can actually remove this turret completely, just like that, and you can fit your minifig inside. You can pop the top off really easily, and you just take your minifig, slide them in just like that, and then the top goes right back on, and then you can get them into the gunner seat, and it slides just in like that, and then you have your gunner. Now, coming along to the back, you have a big open area for a Phantom. Now, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I think that's going to be the last point that I want to make, but I did want to show off this small corridor back here. You can open up these two doors, and it gives you access not just to the cannon or the turret, but if you take the turret out, also gives you access to the rest of the interior, albeit a very small interior, which is definitely going to be one of my points in the future, but I like that you can see all the way through, and it adds a lot. Now, let's take a look down that hole. There's not really much going on. Let me not drop this. But yeah, not much going on down there. It's just a vacant spot for where this goes, but there is a small play feature that involves that area that we will get to in a little bit. Now, once you get that back on, it just slits in just like that, and it's spins around pretty nice. I really like that it has that 360 capability, so there's a lot of playability with that. Now, the next major play feature that I want to look at are the escape pods. I'm a big fan of escape pods. That inner kid in me just loves to slip them out and just play with them. I don't know why. They're just so fun. You can swoosh them around, and it's so satisfying to take out and put back in. They slide out really easily, and this is the escape pod build. There's some really nice detailing on the front, and the back has even some little thrusters. Now, these just pop open just like that, and then you can sit your minifigure down in there. Now, it's identical on the other side. Now, we'll use the Stormtrooper. He's getting ejected from the Ghost because he does not belong in this set. You just sit him down just like that. You can actually fit 2 minifigs in here if you try hard. It's just not what it was meant to be. You close it up just like that, and there it is. It's nice and closed, and then to slide it back in, you get these nice little rails. You just put it on, and you slip it in, and then boom, just like that, it is reattached, and I think it looks really good, not just on its own, but it also adds a lot to the ship in my opinion. It makes that whole silhouette look a lot better. Now we'll move on to the interior. Now, unfortunately, not much going on the interior here, which kind of stinks. I think there was some missed opportunity. However, we will get in, starting with the cockpit right down here, you have a spot for your gunner where you can sit a minifig, and this whole thing actually just slides out pretty easily, and you actually fit 2 minifigs in here sitting back to back, which is really nice. I'm happy that there's ample room inside this set for your minifigures, and then once you have them in there, you just take it and then you slide it right back in, and it goes in really easily, seamlessly, and I think it's really nice, and it's really nice to be able to get in there and access your minifigs. Then your cockpit closes just like that. This is a printed cockpit right there, which looks really nice in my opinion, and then under that, you have a small little turret under there, which can go side to side in 180 degrees and also down and up a little bit. And I think that's really nice that you can move it around. I'm a big fan of that. Now, I guess while we're on the topic of missiles down there, you do have flick fire missiles down here, which, you know, I'm sure you all know how they work and I don't want to shoot this and lose it, but I think they're hidden really well and they don't take away from the build like they do on some other LEGO sets, especially the counterpart to this being the Phantom, which we'll talk about a little bit. But I do overall really like that these are hidden away, but they're still there and add a nice play feature for this set. Now I did accidentally just break this, so I do have to put it together real quick. That is one thing when you're holding it. It's kind of an awkward one. There's no like good way to hold. Well, there's not like a little carrier thing like we get on some of our other sets. You can kind of just grab it and pick it up, and it's a very sturdy flip aroundy set. You can swish it really well, which I really like, and it feels very sturdy. It's easy to pick up, but sometimes you can break it, so you got to be a little careful. Now moving on to the top part of the cockpit, this flips up just like that, and then you have a small cockpit area where you can fit one of your minifigures nicely. You've got some levers in there as well, which adds for some nice playability. And then for the only actually other interior space, you get this very small area right in here, which, you know, it's okay. You know, it's nice to actually get some interior. However, it is very small and it's kind of unfortunate. It's just a 4x4 area. Now you do get, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it so you can actually see it with the camera. It's just an awkward way to show it. But yeah, as you can see, you have some small clips in there. You have a nice little like caution tape area, you know, so you don't fall off into the void. But overall, I'm a big fan. I am happy that there is interior. However, I wish that there was some more interior included in this, as you know, the interior is a big part of the play feature. Now, we also have these small flaps that flap up for storage. Now, right here, you have your little extra flick fire missile, which is really nice. You know, you get an extra one just in case you lose one. And then over here, you have Kanan's lightsaber and blaster stored away. I'm happy that they did utilize this space, but I feel like it could have been utilized a bit better. Now, for the next kind of con is what I think. Right down here, you have gaps where this comes together. Now, I do think the space is really nice. I like the overall shape. However, the way they accomplished that was putting on these plates and putting them at this angle, and they didn't put anything in between here to kind of take away, so you can see right into the ghost. And I kind of wish they did some like greebling or just anything there to not have an open gap, because I think it looks pretty bad in my opinion. But that's kind of the main negative I would have to say about this set, other than what we're going to talk about in just a second. But I think just having these gaps, it just kind of takes away from this set quite a bit. But now we move on to what I think is my least favorite part of this set, and is the big gaping hole in the back. Now I understand why they did this, and I just think they should have included the Phantom, because this is actually compatible with both of these Phantoms over here, the one from 2014 as well as the one from 2017. But those were sold separately, but you just take it, you know, and it can dock right back here, and it fits in perfectly. And I think this set with the Phantom in it looks really good. Hold on, let's get it in how it's supposed to go, just like that. I think it looks really good. It looks so much better like this than without it. However, they didn't include it, and I think I would have been happy to pay like an extra $20 on this set and get, you know, the Phantom and get those added characters. You could have gotten that Sabine and that Ezra included in the set, that Chopper, and I think it would have been really nice. I think it definitely would have made this set sell a bit better. I just think this is a big turn away for the people, having this huge empty spot back here, because it looks really ugly. If I was displaying this like that, I would not want to look at it. I think it's really bad. I'm very unhappy that there was not a Phantom included in here. Now, be it you could just buy the Phantom for $25 at the time, but still, for people that couldn't, you know, it just takes away a ton from the set, in my opinion, having this big back area open. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is this back thruster, because I think it looks super goofy. It's a 1x1 going all the way. I think it looks really bad, in my opinion. I wish that was thicker. I wish it was bigger, but unfortunately, it just looks really awkward, in my opinion. It's just a 1x1 fin, and I don't know. I think it should have been diagonally built up, and it would have looked so much better, in my opinion. Now, there's actually one other play feature to show, and it is this right here, this mechanism. And right down here, there's a trap door, and you pull it, and it drops out a holocron. I'm a big fan of that, and I'm happy that they included that because it's a really cool play feature. It's really fun to just fly around and then drop it, and it drops out really nicely. It's funny. And in this, you have a holocron, which will pull out, the same holocron that we get in most of the other sets that we do get holocrons, but it is a really nice inclusion, and you know, nice for the lore of the show as well, because they did have that holocron on board, and it just folds up and you can seal it just like that. Now overall, I think this build is really, really nice. Now there are just those few flaws that I pointed out, but I do still love this build. Now, as for the price and the value of this set, like I said earlier, it released for $89.99 USD. Adjusted for inflation is about 120. However, you cannot buy it for 120 nowadays. If you want one of these new sealed in box, it's going to cost you about $500, which, you know, back in the day, I probably would have said that's not even that crazy. It's an iconic ship. There's some iconic minifigures in here. The Zeb minifigure, you know, only ever appeared in this set. We never got any other versions of him either, so this is the only way to get an official Lego Zeb Aurelios. However, in 2023, we got this Ghost, which only cost $160 and is still on shelves today, and you can frequently find it for about $130. Now, if you want an in-depth comparison of these two Ghosts, I have a video, so I will leave a link to that in the description, where I get down to all of the gritty details between these two sets, and we find out which one is better. But for that, I cannot recommend that you buy this for the price that it is today. I think for $500, it's not for the normal consumer, for the average consumer. I think the only way I could recommend you buy this set is if you're a big fan of the Rebels and if you really want the minifigs. Now, I'm not saying you can't get a really good deal on a used one of these, because that's what I did. I only ended up paying, I think, $200, and it came with this and the Phantom, which was a really good deal. So if you get a good deal on it, I think it's a really fun set. I think there's some really good stuff going for it. The play features are really cool, and it's just a really nice model in my opinion. However, I would not recommend that you buy it for $500, but if you can get a good deal on it, I think it's a great set, and I think the minifigures are also great. They're definitely the high point of this set for me. That Zeb Aurelios is super, super sick. You know, maybe you can find one with a black-haired Kanan and make yourself some money, as that is like a $200 figure, but that's going to do it for this review, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought about this set. Let me know if you ever owned this set, and let me know if it's a set that you want to own in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.